Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Red and White Show. We have got a very exclusive people on tonight. We've got a Barnsley manager in here, we've got Mr. Reliable, we've got a Future Forest manager, and we've got a Red Love fan in on here as well. So, the Red Love fan is Michael.
Hey guys.
Our Future Forest manager is LGP.
Hello there.
Hello. Mr. Reliable in Jack.
Hello.
And our Future Barnsley manager is Mr. Turton.
Evening.
And I'll start off that one by Lurkin saying evening all.
Evening.
How are we all tonight?
Very good. Very good. You?
Shame that it's International Week, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Not quite.
I just wish that I'll be glad when this international break is over with. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree a lot with that statement.
Yeah, it's embarrassing when we're playing countries like Albania and San Marino and
Yeah, I mean,
don't they really?
yeah, gives you so much to start when you only see it San Marino.
Yeah.
Obviously, Forest are back at the weekend as well. So how do you all feel going into it?
Okay, hopefully we can, result against Preston just before the break. But we still seem to lack consistency. The game against Sheffield United, we were poor, and we need to have that consistency and hopefully put a bit of a run of form together. I know we had the 4 games when we were unbeaten and we were doing well, but yeah, it needs to be consistent.
Do you guys agree with that?
To be honest, though, we've only lost 1 since Steve Cooper's come in, so that is fairly consistent. We have collected points in every other one of his games. And Sheffield United, I don't think it was that poor. The referee was definitely poor. I've seen a lot worse performances this season than Sheffield United at home.
Yeah, we had as manager. That's But
There you go. Luke's back on it.
the first half against Sheffield United, shocking. The gap between midfield and attack. There was a massive gap between midfield and attack. We couldn't get the ball out of defence. And you had Garner and Yates were pretty much sitting on the toes of the back 4. But it was poor. Okay, second half we were better against Sheffield United, but overall that was a poor performance. I couldn't go to the Preston game. Really disappointed. I was shocked when I saw the result because I'd seen Preston on the TV against Liverpool and thought they looked like a good side. But to be honest, I was shocked after watching Sheffield United. I thought, well, we're not going to get anything against Preston. So I was pleasantly surprised when I saw the result.
Yeah, but at the same time, Michael, the side was unbalanced against Sheffield United because Max Lowe wasn't able to play, so Jack Colback was moved out of midfield.
Oh, look, one person doesn't make a team. Like, you've got to have versus.
But Michael, when you've got a midfield partnership like Yates and Colback that are working so well, and Max Lowe is decent at wing back, then you are going to struggle when you're moving so many different players into different positions. James Garner has not been the same player since he's come back.
No,
to actually go in and make the same impact as Jack Colback in there isn't going to work.
Don't know what's happening.
I'm watching in the background.
Yeah, I was on the game. I just swapped from my phone to my tablet and had a game on it. So
Yeah, I mean, the other thing we've got to watch now that Warnock's gone from Borough, they've got Chris Wilder. He's going to recall Jed Spence, who he was fantastic on that Sheffield United game, and he's hit a good patch of form. and we'll probably lose him if we haven't already. I must admit, I haven't seen any news.
Yeah, but again, the recruitment team are already planning for next season, never mind January. So they'll have the plan in place as to who's going to come in if Jed Spence and Max Lowe go back to Borough and Sheffield United. I mean, these recruitment guys were the same guys that negotiated the deals with that term in there. So, to me, it's no surprise that probably within the month of January, we do make the replacements, and they're just as good because we're stats driven now. There hasn't been many transfers that have not been really backed up with performances on the pitch, bar James Garner. There hasn't been many transfers. Oh.
I mean,
Yeah.
No.
the one thing I would like us the one thing that I would like to see transfer window to get off decent striker. Graben's getting on. Okay, he's been good. But Lyle Taylor was shocking a couple of games. I've seen him in recently. And okay, we've got that young lad in the under-17s or under-18s. I forget, but he's played for Northern Ireland or Ireland recently. Yeah, but I'd like to see us to get a 20 goal a season striker.
But again, Michael, we haven't looked that bad. So I mean, Graben's scoring now. He looks in confidence. You don't want to upset the apple cart too much.
But look where we are in the league. How many goals have we scored this?
We're progressing, Michael.
Well, we have got Luke going now.
Yeah, but we can't. We've got to get things moving. We can't progress forever. We've got to, sometime we've got to show the money.
We can't progress forever.
Well, we can progress forever, but can't just be in that state where we just say, oh yeah, we're improving, we're learning, getting better. At some point, you've got to, somebody's going to start banging the drum and saying, I get it that you're improving, and I get it that you're getting better. If you're still not delivering the results, then that's what really matters. That's where the rubber hit the road.
But we've only lost one game since Steve Cooper's come in as manager. And that wasn't even a 4-0 game. The scoreline says 4-0, but it was not a 4-0 game. That was over-exaggerated by the referee.
I don't think the referee over-exaggerated, did he?
Yeah.
Well, he did, because he got poor decisions throughout the whole game.
Look at QPR. We were shocking in that game as well.
Should have had 2 penalties in the first half. They should have been down to 10 men.
The ref didn't give it. It's all right saying we had 2 penalties. They should have been down to 10 men and whatever. But
my point is if those penalty decisions were given in the first half, it'd have been a totally different game. So, say we were poor against QPR, were we poor, or were we getting in the positions where really?
That's the thing. We weren't getting in the positions.
But we were though. First half we were. We were getting in the box. We had more chances in the first half against QPR than probably any other game this season.
That's saying a lot.
Well, I'm loving this, I am.
We're showing we're matching every other game this season, so it can't be that poor, can it?
How many points do we get against QPR?
We salvaged a point, but that's also not the point.
Guys, get in the chat. Who do you agree with, Luke or Michael? Sorry for jumping in. I thought I'd try it.
I'm just gonna.
Are they done?
Pardon?
What are the comments saying?
It's not came up yet, but Theo Adams, I've got you on YouTube saying, thought we played quite well against QPR.
No, I must have been watching different games for me.
I thought we played quite well in that game as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I've just got high expectations, high aspirations for where the team should go.
How did you feel about it, Jack?
I think it's definitely improvement from what we were seeing under Houghton. I mean, there's no denying the fact that we've, I'd probably say in every game we've played this season under Cooper, it has been better than what we did under Houghton. And I think the QPR game, like you were saying, first half, I think we were the better side. Unfortunately, conceded right at the end of the half. And then probably second half, they were the better side, and we scored at the end of the half. So I think it was 50-50 really on that one. But I think you've got to look at it as a whole, and we've definitely improved. And games we're getting points in, we probably would have lost. Games we're winning, like you look at the Blackpool game, we conceded, heads would have dropped, we would have lost that, went on to win it. So definite improvements. And I think, like you were saying with the QPR game, I think first half we were the better team, got unlucky at the end of it. Second half they were the better team, they got unlucky at the end of it. So 50-50 on that one for me, I think.
I love how Jack's sat in the middle of it.
Well, sat on the fence, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Mr. Reliable. But yeah, that one quite a tough one actually, to be fair, because it was that 50-50, that QPR one. We did have Bray in the on the screen, but he's not here at the minute. But yeah, what we're going to say. Obviously, the juicy. I know we said it that many times on this show, especially with the role transfers. Obviously, that's sort of number one a little bit again with January coming up, with like the loans and Brewster. So, how do you guys feel about it?
There's one thing that's probably dead on not to happen in January.
If selling Grabham.
We don't sign Brewster. It has been rumoured that long now, since Cooper's come in, that we're after Brewster, that we'll go and sign somebody else that was in another academy that is not Rhian Brewster. It's nailed on.
Yeah. Did any of you guys read what people said about it?
I haven't yet, no.
It's in the Even Post. He said about it, saying that it was sat behind him at the Friday game. When Sheffield United played Friday, when Forest didn't have a game, all he did was sat behind him, and obviously he got a really good bond with him. So that how the rumour started up.
So basically, manager in championship attends another championship game, and everybody assumes he's looking at Rhian Brewster.
Yeah,
Who did they play?
I can't remember who they played. I play it up to.
No, I was just wondering because who's to say he wasn't going to look at any of their players, or whether it's a team we're coming up against soon or whatever. It might have been doing that, but I think, like Luke said, if they're more statistics based now, then Brewster doesn't really fit the role because he's really underperformed since he's moved to Sheffield United. That if we're going for statistics, then he hasn't really, that doesn't back him up. So that one wouldn't really fit the model that it looks like we're trying to approach, I guess.
Just as a side question, has anybody watched the Gary Brazil interview yet with Robin Chipperfield?
No.
Not yet, no.
Well, he was positively glowing about the prospects we have coming through from the academy to the first team. And, I mean, you just got to think, Dale Taylor has made a Northern Ireland senior squad and come on before he's even played a senior game for Forest. What does that tell you? You've also got Lawson, Will Swan. I mean, people want us to go and sign a striker. I have no idea why. You've got Lewis Grabban. You've got 3 young players in the academy, and Steve Cooper's strength is developing youth players. I mean, we did tremendously with the academy players at Swansea. And I mean, our academy is way better than theirs anyway, so I don't know why we're that concerned. And as people going, send Dale Taylor out on loan, why? Why can't we give our academy players a chance? Why is it sending out just because it worked for Brennan Johnson doesn't mean it's going to work for Mighton and Dale Taylor out in the lower divisions where they get kicked to bits. And as we're wanting John Swift, I mean, I'd love us to get John Swift. I mean, he's got 8 and 7 in goals and assists. I can't remember the exact way around it is, but they're the numbers. And we play Reading next. And without going too much into kind of the end of the show, I really hope we beat Reading. They are boring. They are odd. They like to be very, very, very different. They have now changed their stadium from the Madstad to the Select Car Leasing Stadium, which is a little rubbish. It's
They can't say that when you don't.
Eh?
They can't say that when you don't.
I probably wouldn't want to, Dan. I probably wouldn't want to. But anyway, so to be quite honest, I don't know why everyone's so concerned about January. I think Forest have got it totally under control. For the first time in quite a few seasons, I am actually optimistic for a January transfer window in November.
We got this on record, what Luke has said. Sorry, Luke. I'm a bit quick today.
I think quickly touching on Luke saying about getting a striker in, it's like it doesn't make sense for us to do that because bringing in a striker is probably the most expensive position that you could look to buy or look to loan in. You know, you have to pay the like per month fees or whatever, or percentage of the contract, and it won't be cheap. We won't be able to get a decent striker for cheap any real way of doing it. And with youngsters coming up from the age groups below and how Cooper's doing so well with youngsters, it just doesn't make sense to go out there and put a punt on like a Rian Brewster who's been so poor this season because he's been good under Cooper before. And that is a positive, I suppose, but I think using what we've got is so much more logical. It's cheaper. We've got the resources there, so I don't know why we don't use it. And with, like Luke said, being positive about the transfer window, I think we've got a manager and Dale Taylor who are on the same level. They're on the same page. They know where they want the club to go. They've got the same ambitions, the same actual plan. Like we've got an actual plan, which is so weird. Like for us to have an actual plan and an actual philosophy, that it is something that you can't have said for probably the last decade, if not longer. And it's just it's so great to see. Like I remember when we got beaten by quite easily by Norwich last season, and I remember I was just like, it's so obvious to see what they were trying to do, bringing in players and the way they were playing and how they brought in players from like obscure leagues to fill in positions when like Jamal Lewis went. They brought in a Greek guy at left back and stuff. And with Forest, you just could not see anything like that. And now you've actually seen some form of a philosophy or a plan. It's just it's a long time coming, and it's really great to see.
It's the projects aligned, basically, is what Jack's trying to hint at.
Yeah.
Where you've got Dane Murphy at the top, Steve Cooper in the middle, and Gary Brazil at the bottom. I mean, flowing through to then Andy Reid, Warren Joyce. They all, one, know of each other. Two, seem to be on the same page. And all Forest needs to do is make sure none of them fall out of each other. Because this could get scarily kind of optimistic if it comes off right, where everybody's literally in alignment, working off the same page. We have an exciting young player. Do you want to play him? Blah blah blah, kind of strategy. I mean, we could get into a scary place then.
Yeah, I do actually agree with that, lads. I really do. Do you agree with it, LJP?
Yes, I do for the most part. The only positions that that I think Forest need to look at in January is the fullbacks, because if Spence will most likely get recalled. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't get recalled. Lowe, there's a chance he could get recalled. So if say they both get recalled back to their parent clubs, then we definitely need to look into fullback positions. But with a striker, I would be very happy to see Will Swan play, or the other strikers that we have in the academy. And with John Swift, I don't particularly think we need him, if I'm honest. If we have the intentions of keeping all of our wingers / attacking midfielders, I don't think we will need him, because that's just going to take minutes away from someone like an Alex Myton or one of the other young lads coming up from the academy. So I think the only position we could necessarily worry about is the fullback areas, but we've been worrying about that for back in the summer and that. So yeah, it's definitely that's definitely the only positions that I'm sort of worried about. But I would be very happy to see the academy guys get the chance in the first team.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, touching on that one, I know Jack's been quite from League One. Jack has been quite busy the last couple of weeks, bless him. So
yeah, I've been had a lot on after work and stuff, and like different things have been getting in the way. But hopefully I'm back now, so I can carry on with the red and white show.
yeah, there's Phil Mitchell hiding again. He's doing his taxi service. You remember that deal that he said to him, League One? If anyone's wondering about that taxi service, obviously a couple of red and white shows. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Actually, was it, Lee?
Oh, it wasn't that long ago. It was just after the Fulham game when people were leaving in the 4-0, and me and Phil basically took most of the fan base to bits.
Yeah. Yeah, they were still saying that they would set up a taxi service if vans will stay. So I think Philly's doing that tonight, catching up from the last home game. Just catching up on top of them old comments. Leo Kwan said we should go for the Milton Keynes guy.
Yes, Scott Twine.
Yeah.
But just want to touch on something that LJP said about not needing John Swift. Well, I don't know about you, but I've not been impressed with James Garner. So he'll probably go back in January as well. You've got Ryan Yates, Jack Colback, the Paraguayan lads, and then not much else. And it only takes 2 injuries in midfield away from only having the Paraguayan lad and nobody else in the centre of midfield, because I've not seen Cafu. Well, I don't even know if Cafu's alive.
That's about it.
So, I mean, 8 goals, 7 assists to me. I mean, if you're looking at that sort of player in the Championship in November, then I can't see why you wouldn't, to be fair.
Just to jump in real quick, but can John Swift play in the CDM sort of areas? Because I thought he was just an attacking midfielder.
But he's not. But it's not really a CDM position when you're playing 3 across the back and 2 wing backs. I mean, all intents and purposes, we play central midfielders. They have to be able to tackle and then spray the ball forward. I mean, I'm sure most people can make a tackle.
Yeah, you'd like to think that.
Just to answer Theo's question, because I'm on a roll. Jed Spence seems to be adding $1 million to his price tag every time he plays. So that could be a difficult one, especially with Chris Wilder there at Borough now. I mean, Neil Warnock must need his head looking at to not like a Jed Spence. Max Lowe, I always think he was a stopgap before we could get Buchanan from Derby. I mean, if they're still in their demise of going down to League One with no takeover and hardly any money, then I think we could quite easily steal Lee Buchanan in January and use him in Max Lowe's position because that's the one we originally wanted. And, you know, why not just go all out? Well, I mean, it's not going to cost much, really, is it? Derby as much money as possible, so they'll take whatever's going in January. They'll probably lose half their squad. Bless them.
Derby going down with a father in the band.
I thought I'd bring that in again.
Yes, all day long.
Right
Yeah.
back wise, I've not really seen anybody that's tearing it apart and going, yeah, let's try and get him in. I mean, I don't particularly know that many League One right backs, but at the same time, again, let's go back to Plan A and use Finn back.
He seemed to be like, yeah, everyone's saying that, yeah, we need a right back. Could he come in and do a job like anyone else?
Yeah, I don't see why. I mean, I don't see why not. And with a manager with a sort of reputation as Cooper has with youngsters, we've not really got a better pair of hands. We couldn't really have a better pair of hands to deal with youngsters and mould them into who he wants them to be. So, you know, it's quite positive at the minute because, like, obviously with COVID and stuff, clubs that have as much money. So having someone who's able to utilise the players we have and younger players coming through, you know, it could really solve a lot of issues that, you know, we might have had, say, if we couldn't get the two in and two fullbacks in and we had like I don't know, let's say a Houghton or whatever, we wouldn't have had that ability to mould the youngsters. We would have been in trouble and probably lacked in that position. But now we have somebody in charge who has the credentials to mould youngsters and bring them to a level where they're good enough to play a championship. I'm confident, and I don't think it's that big of a worry as some people might think it could be.
Yeah, I do actually agree with that.
I just want to also bring the point up. Who'd heard of Connor Roberts before Steve Cooper went to Swansea?
Exactly, yeah.
After
Just
that,
saying, just leaving that one out there.
there you go.
Do we?
Yeah.
And he gone to did he go to Burnley? And yeah, I don't think he'd even played yet.
Well, here's the thing, right? If we want Connor Roberts, then maybe the bargain chip is Joe Worrell.
Mm.
But at the same time, though, right? Just follow me on this one, because you're gonna at some point. I mean, Joe Worrell's already hinted that if a Premier League club came into it for him, he'd go because he wants to play in the Premier League. And you can't bank on doing that with Forest.
That was something I would have done mention tonight.
And I don't have a problem with that because at the end of the day,
I'm reminding you. Look for gym card. I'm reminding you. Look for gym card.
Alexa, sorry, Luke.
yeah. If your job, if somebody else came in for you and offered twice as much money for the job you were doing, you'd bite the hand off every day of the week. So why is it all of a sudden a problem in football?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's a job. If Burnley came in and doubled Worrell's salary and said we'll play you in place of a Tarkowski and you could get into the England squad, I think
it'd be silly not to go.
Yeah, I think anybody'd be stupid enough to say, "Oh, well, he should stay at Forest then, shouldn't he, and get us promoted instead." Plus, you're gonna get a decent wedge of money for Joe Worrell.
Yeah.
And I think I hinted at it on this show a few months ago. It'd be a hell of a lot easier to replace a head it and kick it centre back that can slightly play a ball out than a Brennan Johnson.
Yeah, I agree with that, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, again, Riley Harbottle, Baba Fernandez. They looked brilliant against Bradford when they were playing the way they played in the under-23s.
Yeah,
When
I'm so
Chris
impressed
Hughton
with
got
them.
hold, when Chris Hughton got hold of them against Wolves and played them in the way he wanted them to play, they didn't look half as good. Oh, I wonder what the problem was there. Yeah, I'm still bitter and twisted about Chris Hughton.
I know, yeah. We got to loot that.
You've never properly lost, Luke.
But yeah, I was going to touch up on about the Joe Worrell one because I don't know if any of you guys actually watched that interview he did with Robin Chippenfield.
I watched some of it.
Yeah, I've seen bits.
I watched it all. It was brilliant. I mean, I've watched every single one of those videos bar Colin Calderwood. And I mean, each one gives you a totally different insight into a situation you thought you knew information about.
Mm.
I mean, when Joe Worrell said an unnamed Premier League club came in for him and he had this Zoom conversation and then the team went and signed a centre back. Let me fill in the gaps. That's Brentford, Thomas Frank, and Christopher Ayer.
Mm.
It was obvious. Fits the way that Joe Worrell wants to play. Okay.
Horses.
Eh?
You heard it here first on the Red and White show by Turton.
I'm not scared to unhighlight the blanks.
We have got a comment by Theo saying if Dred Spence gets recalled, which is highly likely, I feel like we will use Mohamed Draga.
Again, that's another one. This guy has been stat driven. So again, was this all in the planning? Have Drager there, get him trained up, get him to know the squad. So in January we can drop him in and it looks seamless.
Yeah. Never thought-
Ayada's there. Is he the Garner replacement? Did we do a sort of half and half situation? Rodrigo Ely. Very clever, Lurquan. You're slowly learning situations within our squad. The only thing we didn't do is do it with the left back. But then again, we had a Segi Tutu, and then we drafted in Max Lowe. So, technically speaking, we had all bases covered for the start of the season and a few for January. So,
Yeah, but
no, Dan, we did not contemplate Bong. Can we have one? We can't even have this stream without mentioning him because you've mentioned him.
you know they're ever gonna. Even if Patrick came on, he will mention it. So
Is he watching the second best YouTube channel on Forest
Probably.
tonight?
probably I won't put it past you. But yeah, if we still got Super Bond to play this, if we need to.
I think there's more chance of us four getting 4 games than Bong.
Yeah. I mean, you'd rather switch the whole shape of the midfield to not play Bong. So, yeah, you're probably right.
Bond would be like that sweeper defender, like.
He'd be something. I wouldn't call him a sweeper defender, though.
And Luke wanting Rodrigo Eli.
Yes.
Still got him to come in. I know he's injured.
Theo's asking, would you want Jed Wallace? And here comes my next little monologue.
You're setting them up tonight, guys.
I mean, Jed Wallace is a player that I've wanted for about 4 seasons. And he's always been close to agreeing terms with Forest and then just not. I mean, we do need somebody to play on the other side to Brennan Johnson. I'm not particularly sure Zinkernagel does it for me. I'm not exactly sure Lolly's got it anymore. And I just think Mighton needs to play on his right side, which coincidentally is the right side, and Johnson plays the left side. I mean, I don't know what his obsession is with Johnson on the right, but you know when he was at Lincoln, he was playing on the left. And just so we're aware, the third goal against Preston came from Brennan Johnson cutting inside, skinning 3 players and putting it on a plate for grabbing from the left.
Well, yeah. What do you agree with that, guys?
Yeah, I think with Jed Wallace, I mean, he's on great form at Millwall. I think even though he's got his contract expiring at the end of the season, I do think Millwall will demand a high price. And obviously, you know, I'd take him very much at Forest. I just have a feeling he won't join there. I just got a feeling. I don't know why. But with what you're saying about Brennan Johnson, I think he should definitely play on the left side. It's his preferred position, and although he definitely does a good job on the right side, I think he'll be even better on the left side. But obviously Zinkernagel's there as well, so we've got definitely some quality, which gives managers and even fans headaches about it, which is definitely a good thing. But yeah.
Oh, giving fans a headache is a good thing. Oh dear, here's Door.
Luke cat.
But where have you been hiding, Door? I mean, we haven't seen you for at least a couple of weeks now on the channel. Are you still out looking for the rest of the Gaetan Bong supporters?
We love you, Barn. We do. Down to Dawn towards that.
I'm sorry, my loyalties lie with TFTV.
Hey!
I'm sorry, but we slapped a £15 million price tag on Jack, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Plus, spell on fees as well. And
Yeah.
And Jack,
You got
Jack
agents.
demands a lifetime supply of Fanta.
Yeah, why not?
Vimto.
And Vimto.
Not sponsored.
Yeah. I wonder
Right.
how long it'd be before Door came. Oh yeah, Door. Before I forget, I've actually had contract negotiations with Malcolm today to sign him on for TFTV. So,
Wow.
Oh, and also, Door, you're the second best YouTube channel for Forest content, just so you're aware.
Shots being
Anyway,
fired.
what else do we have?
Saturday's game against Reading.
We're going to win 3-0. They're going to have 2 men sent off, and Velko Paunovic is going to get the bullet. Done.
I won't say no to that. Yeah, I'd love to do so over Reading, just because, just that game where that one we scored right last minute, and then they went down the other end and scored again. And then when they came back to City Ground, I think I was at the time, if we won, we went in like the top 2 or something. We scored, and then a few minutes later they equalised again, and it's just
Yeah, that hurt. That game really hurt.
Yeah.
But that's not allowed this season. We are keeping clean sheets in both games against Reading, and we're going to win. And also, Door, just so you're also aware, Dan does previews with Rads, so that technically means that this channel is the best channel.
He's trying. No, I don't mind him. Dear me.
Is that it?
Lord, we have got the link in the chat. if you really, really want to come on and give you play. But Jack's not going anywhere. Well, I don't think. Yeah, but yeah, we are going to win on Saturday against
Reading.
Reading. That's it. I couldn't get my words out then. Then we have to have a midweek game as well next week, haven't we?
Oh yes, Luton.
Luton.
We're Luton. What would it? Yeah, we can play them Saturday, Tuesday, Friday or something daft.
Friday.
Yeah, that's West Brom.
West Brom, yeah, West Brom.
Is it Friday?
Yeah.
Oh.
Photographic evidence.
Yeah, I know West Brom was a Friday. I just wasn't aware it was straight after Luton.
Some fan you are, Luke, Nicky Jack. You can't tell Luke is being converted into a Barnsley fan day by day.
You do realise, Dan, that I've just spent the majority of this show stating facts.
And did we sell Tyler Blackett? Yeah, we sold him. Luke Hart, Dan Hart, Sam from Egypt.
Just you keep making content, though.
Second best content. Well, third, because behind Matt's. Fourth, behind there's TFTV, then there's Wads, then there's Matt's, then there's Door. Fourth best content. Oh yeah, LJP, because he does false content. LJ Owen. And there's Gap. Then there's Luke. So he's ninth best.
Right. Are we about done?
Yeah. Door, breaking news, Door is the 9th best Forest YouTuber by me, Rad, Luke, Jack, LGP, Turton, Matt. And on that note, I'd like to say thank you for watching, guys. Good night and goodbye.